What is up, guys? Welcome to a new type of video. I haven't done this at all with Motorfest, and I thought it was time to talk about how to get in front in the grand races in the beginning of the race. You always see these guys, these super fast racers, just zooming to the front of the pack, and it's really strange. You're like, how do they just get to the front every single time they race? You can watch guys like Simji or Rhino, or I mean, you name it. There's a ton of guys out there, and they just get into the front of the pack, like, you know, seemingly immediately. Well, it doesn't happen immediately. There's a lot of work that goes into it. There's a lot of like little tiny strategies that they employ to get themselves into a position to be in front. Now, if there's a bunch of sweats in one lobby, obviously there's going to be a pack of them at the front. But I want to talk about how they actually do it. I want to analyze a few of Simji's grand races that he's done on stream live. We're going to take a look at some of those clips. There's some really amazing strategy that he's using in order to put himself in a really good situation, despite being completely messed up on some of these clips with like people driving crazy, or the game literally just yeeting his car into the wall. There's all kinds of stuff, but he always seems to end up in front, and there's a reason he does that. It's just the strategies he's using. So let's go. All right, in this first one, we got to talk about surviving. This is an important factor to making it to the front. There's a lot of chaos that goes on, especially when you start in the back like he did in this clip. Notice he's not hitting the back of any cars. He's just trying to survive and drive the lines that he knows are the fastest. He gets pushed around on that corner, but doesn't end up in the wall. It's important to not hit the back of any cars. You have to try to do that as much as possible. Now, notice on this turn, we're going to rewind this actually. This is something that not a lot of people know that you can do. But notice on this turn, back up, back up. He gets hit from behind when he's making the turn. He entered the turn with the perfect amount of speed in order to make the corner. But because he got contacted from the back, it throws his car into the wall. Now, knowing that it's going to throw him into the wall, he recognizes it immediately and keeps his wheels turned so that the back of the car hits the wall as opposed to the side or the front. Had the front of the car hit the wall there, it would have slowed him down tremendously. But if the back corner hits the wall, not too bad. He survives and moves on. Now, going through this section, he gets pushed again, almost hits the wall there, knows that he needs to turn back. Notice that he snaps the car back way to the right because he knows there's a wall there. It's just about track knowledge there, but still, he doesn't hit it with the front of his car. It's important. Now, actually on this turn, I want to slow this down because this is something that I noticed that I don't know that a lot of people did notice. So going into this turn, he's got two cars on his left. So those two cars are going to be in his way when he wants to take the line that he needs. They are farther inside. He is in the correct position for this turn. Now, when you go forward a little bit, he brakes to let them go so that he can take the line. What he doesn't realize, though, is that there is someone slipstreaming them who is going to be in his way. Had that car not been in his way, he would have passed everybody in front of him because he took the correct line and he didn't contact anyone. However, he gets smashed into. That guy gets the benefit of using him to turn, and he gets pushed into the wall by another car. Super unfortunate, but it does happen. Again, he's just trying to survive here. All right, let's speed it back up. Now, on this corner, a similar thing happens, except for he misses the inside car. He takes the route that he wants, but he's still getting pushed around. Again, gets contacted. But here's where he's in perfect shape. In the clip, he's a little bit upset because he keeps getting pushed around and he's not able to take the lines that he wants. But here's the thing. Once he gets here, he is in perfect shape to pass up a bunch of people because of his NOS usage. He could have easily used his NOS in the air there, and it really would have congested everything that happens when he lands. Instead of using a lot of NOS, he just uses a little tiny bit, saves it for the second jump, and then look at how many cars he passes. Let's see how many he's got on just on that single jump, and the momentum obviously when he lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars simply because he saved his NOS for the air on that jump. Now this next part is actually pretty important as well. I've got a lot of tips for this particular clip. It's why I picked this one. But on this next part, he knows that there's a cut through the brick walls on the right side. I'm going to go ahead and slow this down a little bit for you guys. Now, normally he would have stayed to the left of that wall, cut over, missed the wall on the left, and then went between the wall and the little like breakable hut there. However, he sees an entire pack of people going through the wall, and so he just simply follows them through the wall. He gets all the benefit of the straight line directly across the grass and none of the downside of hitting the brick wall. So just paying attention, this is not the normal line he would have taken if he was alone. If he was out in front, he would have taken this completely differently. But because there was people in front of him, he's able to just go right through, not hit anything. These guys crash everything, and he passes 4 people. And he's got the momentum to pass the 5th guy in the grass. He's got the momentum to go up this hill, pass another guy. That's 6 passes simply because he decided to take that line. Now, on this next turn, he's obviously battling this guy for the gutter. He wins it. He's on the inside. Coming around this corner, here's what he sees. He's got a pack of about 6 people in front of him, and there's a little bit of distance between him and them. He wants to get into that slipstream before he hits this jump because he wants to make up that distance and land near these guys. So what does he do? Blast his entire bottle of NOS. Now, you don't necessarily want to do that all the time, but in this scenario, it was really important. One guy hits the thing, the other guy goes low, misses. He takes this turn all the way on the inside through the brick wall and actually uses the brick wall to slow himself down. It's a brilliant strategy. Not everybody knows when to hit the brick walls. Usually you try to avoid them. In this case, he hits it to slow down. Takes the corner perfectly, and he's all the way into 2nd place going into this turn. Takes first, and then something unfortunate happens. He gets pushed into a tree. Again, doesn't panic, didn't even phase him. He's upset for sure, you can tell, but he's not panicking. He's just going to stay here, try to get into slip, and then try to make up some distance on these cars. Nice little direct mode drift on that corner, which is not something everybody's going to do. And then perfect speed coming through here. This is, honestly, he did this without even thinking, but it's brilliant. Look at what happens with this Crichton guy. So if we back up a little bit, all right, as he's approaching this, he knows he's passing Crichton. Crichton's way on the inside. He's gonna have to come over. So he brakes, lets him go forward, takes the corner slightly slower than he wants to, and slightly more on the inside. And that Crichton guy takes out the other guy instead of Simji. If he would have full blasted that corner, Crichton would have taken him out. So, but instead, now he's got a shot at trying to catch up with this 1st place guy. Not only that, but he's also in slipstream. The guy makes a mistake on that corner. He's in 1st, and that's literally the end of this race for everyone. Simji, once he gets in 1st, obviously, he's not giving it up. All right, in this clip, he's making his way towards the front. He's got a big pack in front of him. Everybody's all bunched up. It's the very beginning of the race, and the game decides to completely yeet his car, and now he's got to try to recover and get back to the front. And honestly, what he's doing is pretty amazing. Let's just watch. Doesn't hit anything. All of a sudden, bye-bye.
What is that?
Absolutely devastating, but he's back in 22nd place. But watch what he does. He uses momentum and avoiding the back of the cars to his advantage. He's got really good speed coming through here, and all these players are fighting each other for position and hitting walls. He's just trying to avoid the trunk of all of these cars. Doesn't want to hit the front of it. See how he swerved to miss the Mustang? Kind of hit the wall, but didn't hit the Mustang. It's really important not to hit the car in front of you. Again, he did this without even thinking. This is just natural to him, but you guys have to start thinking like this if you want to race in the front of the pack. In this particular turn, this Audi right here is going to understeer the corner. He's not in a good position. He's already too far inside in order to take that corner correctly. So Simji knows he's going to understeer the corner and just walk all the way out to the left. So Simji brakes a little bit earlier and takes the corner. Maybe not the fastest you can possibly take the corner, but he doesn't get taken out by that Audi. Brakes a little early, lets him go by, and then he's off and running again. It's just natural to somebody like him. To you guys, you need to pay attention to everything going on, not just your line that you're trying to take. Now this is another example where he knew he had the pace to pass that other car and get on the inside of this corner, so he did. He also recognized that he had enough pace to pass this guy and still make the right hand corner without hitting him. So he did. Now this section coming up is pretty brilliant. He misses the back of these cars like 3 or 4 times. So here he's in good position, misses that F40, goes inside, misses the Viper, avoids the F40 again. Because of that, he kept a ton of momentum and a ton of speed into those corners. Now look at the gap. Look at the gap on the mini map. That's all because of the momentum. Had he contacted the back of those cars, there's no way he's this far in front of them. Not only that, but there's no way he's transitioning at 200 miles per hour after that turn. It's incredibly important not to run into the back of other cars, but to hit on the side. If you're going to hit another car, you're going to want to hit on the side. That's just how it goes. All right, in this clip, I want to highlight NOS timing. So he starts sort of in the back. He's in 22nd place, and he's not using his NOS right off the rip. He's got a lot of it because he started in the back. Here's what he does. He waits for the moment, and then he sees an opening. Hold on. We're gonna back this up because I didn't even see this opening. What he sees is this white Porsche right here. He's nosing, he's going around, he's flying. This guy is absolutely flying. Simji recognizes it immediately and decides to jump into his path using almost all of his NOS. And he takes the exact same path around those cars, avoiding everybody, not hitting anybody in the back. Like I said, momentum is key. And on this clip, he's just brilliant at it. And now he's basically in the front with a couple of very fast racers, Ryosuke and Yuki. Both of them are very good. Zach Parsons, a frequent in some of my streams. Again, very good racers. He's in slip and they're breaking away from the pack. In this clip, he does a similar thing with NOS management. He doesn't have a lot because he started sort of in the middle of the pack, but he's not using it off the start of the race. You want to try to let it build up to be in the blue. Now, simply by knowing the right path on this race, he's able to just rocket himself into first, and he uses his NOS in the perfect time, which is right here in the air, uses a little bit, and then he's got plenty of momentum to just go right in front of everybody else. It's all because of this line that he took right here. Instead of taking this jump because it's off the start, actually, let me back up a little bit. So the correct line on this particular jump, and you guys all know, you probably recognize this jump. When you take this jump and you guys are at full speed, meaning the race didn't start here, this is maybe at the transition or whatever it is, you would take the jump because you want to clear the hill and not run into the block wall. But in this case, he's getting pushed a little bit. He realizes that jump is just completely like out of the question, and he takes the side of the ramp. And he gets kind of lucky because Christo Speed, who's also a frequent of the channel, shout out to Christo Speed, happens to go to the left and runs through the brick wall for him. He doesn't even have to touch it. And then he's completely straight, no barriers, nothing, all the way in front, and the rest is history on that one. And lastly, I want to talk about knowing the cuts. So shortcuts are a huge part of this game. It's part of the reason why these guys are as fast as they are. It's a huge reason, actually, because even if you're fast, if you're staying on the road, you're just going to lose to someone who doesn't. And it's not always advantageous. And sometimes you need to stay on the road, sometimes you don't, depending on the car. In this case, he knows exactly that the fastest path is on the grass. So let's let it play and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So he's starting near the front already, but he's got a couple of very difficult competitors in this race. Kajiro, Ben, Rhino, these are Sob Lover. These are guys that are fast. So instead of staying on the road here like these guys, he decides to take the grass along with Rhino, and he's got a ton of momentum. Now he's in slip with Rhino, and these guys are like the fastest guys in the game. They're slipping away. They've already broken away. Look at the minimap. These 3-4 guys are just gonna walk away from everyone else in the lobby, and they got there super fast because of that grass cut. All right, so to wrap this video up, there's 5 main takeaways, things that you need to practice. They're really, really important. The first is your momentum. You need to focus on keeping the momentum no matter what you're doing. You don't want to run into the back of everyone in the pack. Try to avoid the back of the car, hit the side of the car. You need to also focus on NOS management. NOS management is a big key. You always want to be operating in the blue, except for certain situations. And this clip that I'm watching is me dying over and over again. Anyways, you don't want to drive like me. You want to drive like Simji. NOS management is key. You want to keep your NOS model in the blue. You don't want to be in the red. However, there are certain situations, like I showed you, that you need to use your NOS in order to stay in slip, in order to catch a group in front of you. And sometimes you can use it when you know there's a couple of really tight turns, or a long period where you're not actually going to be using a lot of NOS, and it gives your car time to recover. Another thing that's really important, especially for beginners in the grand races, is just simply surviving. Like, surviving will get you way higher finishes than kind of anything else on this list, to be honest with you. If you just don't crash or don't have to reset, you're going to be finishing way higher than you're used to. It's important just to simply avoid all of the chaos that's going on around you and try to stick to your line and just survive. A lot of those clips I showed today, Simji actually was getting crashed out by other people. It's completely out of his control, but he still found a way to survive those situations and not let it ruin the race. In fact, the game decided to completely yeet his car. He still found a way to recover, and that's something that you guys should also focus on, which is not panicking when something goes wrong. Things are gonna go wrong. There's 28 players on, sometimes just a 2-lane or 1-lane road, and people are gonna bounce into each other. They're gonna fall apart. They're gonna drift. They're gonna crash. They're gonna hit walls. It's just gonna happen, and you have to plan for that. You also have to have a good understanding of, like I showed you that clip where Simji braked early so that that guy could understeer that corner, which is exactly what was going to happen. He predicted this without even really noticing. He did this naturally. Now, that sort of thing does come with a little bit of time. It's definitely something that, more time behind the wheel is obviously going to help you out there. And speaking of more time behind the wheel, the last thing you need to do is start learning the cuts in the grand races. They're extremely important for your success. As I demonstrated a couple of times in those clips, you just need to know which cuts to take and which cuts to avoid. And honestly, that's again just time behind the wheel. Now, I do strongly recommend you go and follow Simji's channel. He streams a lot. He does a lot of grand racing, and you can easily pick up the cuts just simply by watching his stream. If you've got nothing you're doing and you want to learn more about grand racing, you want to improve, he's a very good resource to figure that stuff out. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope this helps. My goal is to help everyone get better at grand racing, at racing in general, and just all the games that I love to play myself. So anyways, thank you guys. Let me know in the comments. This is sort of a different style of video. I would love to know what you thought of it, and if I could do anything to improve it going forward. But definitely go give Simji a follow, and I'll catch you on the next one. Figure out.